I've been thinking about making a project like this for a while, and I saw an idea that inspired me. So I have to draw it out first to see what wood I will need, how long, how wide, and if I need to go get anything. I think I want to make a bench for small children to sit on at my photography studio when I'm taking pictures. I'm bringing my drawing to the workstation so I can begin working on this project. When I told Cory I needed 1x2s and 1x4s, he said we actually had some scraps from a previous project, and I thought they would work perfectly. They are painted white, and I didn't necessarily imagine my project being white. I imagined it being stained, but I see the white on the boards, and I think that actually might be super cute. But I have to measure them to make sure that there are enough of them that are the right length. If there aren't, I'm going to have to wait for a different day when I go get more wood. These will be the base, like the legs of the project. I decided to mark them on the skinny part of the board, but I wish I would have marked those ones on the wide part of the board because that's the part you see when you're cutting. This is going to be the top of the bench. This will be ripped into a 1x2 and go across like this. I'll have a bunch of those. So this will be the base of the bench. It'll also have a back side to it. I'm liking how it looks. I need to put on some safety glasses so I don't hurt my eyes. Using power tools is obviously fun for me. I enjoy setting it up and envisioning the bench. I can already see it coming together.
Gladly.
When Cory and I use the table saw, typically he feeds the wood through and I catch it on the other side. For this project, we decided to do that again because that's what we're used to. When I was measuring out the project in my notebook, I imagined having actual 1x2s, but with wood and lumber, a 1x2 is never actually 1 inch by 2 inches. It's smaller than that, and these boards are a little bit different too because they actually started as 1x8s from the store, and we ripped them down to 1x4s for the project we used the wood for, and now we're using the remnants for this project, so we're ripping it down again. Here we're cutting off the side edge because I didn't want the rounded routed edge, I want it to be more square-like. So we ripped down just the little pieces that are left on the edge of each board so that it has the look that I want. Finally, it's time to sand. I sand the edges to make it a little bit softer, especially because it's going to be for a small child. I want it to be nice. The backside hasn't been sanded, it's a little bit rough, so I sand that too. I will be painting over the piece again, so it's okay that I'm messing up the paint more than it already was. Sanding takes some time, but you can really see the progress. Once I have all of my pieces sanded, it's time to pick them all up and bring them to the other place where I'm going to be painting them. This shed is a little bit too cold to paint in, actually. It's not good for the painting process. Now that I'm in the garage, I am going to set up my bench how I want it to look. This takes some time because I want it to be perfect. First, I'm going to glue the pieces down, and then later I'm going to come back and pre-drill the holes and then screw the pieces together. I realized that the bottom pieces, the legs of the bench, are a little bit too long, so I bring them back to cut them down. They're too long because of the measuring of me expecting them to be actually 1x2s, and they're smaller than that. They're not 2 inches wide. Now that I have the correct lengths, I make sure that they're all in the right spots, and I start gluing down each little 1x2. This is going to be the place where the child sits, and then later I'm going to add the backrest to the bench. I'm just using little globs of glue. These are only going to hold the pieces in place, again, like I said, until I put screws in. I'm really liking how it looks, and though I'm tempted to leave it like this, I know I want a backrest because that was my original vision, but maybe I'll make another one in the future and just leave it like this. I'm imagining what the backrest will look like now that I have these 2 backrest pieces set up against the back. Clearly it's not glued very well, and I didn't take that one piece falling off as a warning that it wasn't ready. Really, the pieces felt like they were glued down and they were sturdy enough, at least to hold, but as you can see, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. It's time to re-glue all of the pieces and set them up exactly how I want them to look. I let that sit for a while and I came back to put the backrest on. Now that I have the backrest set how I like, it's time to glue that down as well. With little globs of glue, I do this process again. I'm actually getting good at placing the little boards and gluing them now. It goes a lot faster, but it's still frustrating that I've had to glue so many times. You can see we have a new microwave box in the background. Funny story, our microwave decided to stop working, of course, around Thanksgiving. So now that's fixed, in case you're wondering about our microwave life. But the boards are looking exactly how I imagined. It's crazy how I had this idea in mind, I drew it on paper, and then you can just make these kind of things happen. It doesn't even take a ton of skill, it just takes time and patience. I didn't record the part where I pre-drilled the holes and then put the screws in with the screw gun. I guess I just forgot, and I'm sorry, but that's what I did. And it actually turned out pretty well. My screws aren't exactly lined up, as you can tell, but I'm gonna paint over it anyway, so it won't be as, it won't stand out quite as much once I have it painted. The paint that I have had been sitting out in the cold building, so it kind of became a weird texture. This isn't a new jar of paint. I've used it for another project in the past, but now it's kind of thick. It ended up working just fine, but I guess I learned my lesson, keep my paint in the warm garage rather than out in the cooler building, the wood shop. You can see how thick it is. So I guess in the future, maybe that would be one thing I would change about this. Another thing is I might make the backrest have more of an angle to it. You can see it's straight up and down. It's like a 90-degree angle. Maybe next time I would slant the backrest back just a little bit, but I think really it's turning out like magic. It's really satisfying to think of an idea, put your mind to it, and actually have it turn out exactly how you thought. It's very sturdy. I can even sit on it myself. It holds me up. See? Oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. It's so tiny. You can tell how small it is. Oh my goodness. Thanks for watching.